Today I'm going to be discussing even more regular show hot takes because the last video seemed to do pretty well and I got a ton of comments with a bunch of different other hot takes and I don't want to leave everybody hanging, so I'm going to be looking at all of those, diving deep into what you're saying, and seeing if it's actually a good take, if it's something very truthful about the show, or if it's something that is just complete and utter bullshit. So we're going to be taking a look at a few of those today, just reading them all off and just having a good time. And if you are not subscribed, make sure to lift that arm up and press that subscribe button. We are on that road to 100,000 subscribers. And I got a lot of good stuff on the way. I have a SpongeBob ranking coming up, lots of more regular show stuff, obviously, and just a bunch of other shows that I'm also working on currently, and you don't want to miss it. And if I get to 20,000 subscribers, I am going to do a poll for this. I'm either going to cosplay as Muscle Man and do a hot dog eating contest, Pops and do the milk challenge, or Benson and drink the Mississippi Queen. So if you don't want to miss that, you might as well subscribe. And without further ado, let's read some regular show hot takes. And our first hot take from Suffifer is, I think the plot of the movie needed to be Rigby's big mistake with the college acceptance letter. It didn't ruin his character, it made it better. We saw Rigby go from being a complete a-hole to be a really good but silly guy who cares and isn't afraid to show it anymore. More responsible. It was really fun to watch a character who has grown a lot, come to terms with his past behavior, and accept what he did, be honest, and form a much stronger friendship despite his past horrible actions. I honestly agree with you with the importance of the college acceptance letter. I think it's great at diving deep into Rigby's character and just understanding more of his anxiety issues, his fears of abandonment. I mean, he literally cost his friend an opportunity to better himself and have a better life solely so that he wouldn't be left behind because he didn't get into the same university that Mordecai did, writing a literal fake acceptance letter or rejection letter for Mordecai just to hold him back in life, and it drove Mordecai to become a villain in an alternate timeline. Yeah, it's just so crazy. It's such a horrible thing, and I honestly don't think Rigby should have ever been forgiven for that. But either way, it's a good dive into his character. You get to understand a lot about just Rigby's fears, and that's why I enjoy it a lot. The only thing that I didn't like about the college acceptance letter is it kind of just felt like, what could we add to this movie that would add a lot of drama, a lot of spice, something that would make the watcher go, I can't believe Rigby would do that, and they came up with the college acceptance letter, and it works perfectly at achieving that. It is something so horrible that everyone could talk about it for years to come and just say, wow, Rigby is a asshole, but it also makes Rigby's redemption and him becoming a better character later on much better. And I will say Rigby's growth throughout all the seasons is probably the best arc in the entire show. I mean, you get to watch this character in the first 3 seasons just be this horrible character who is just constantly putting everyone in danger just for his own selfish gain, and then in season 4 you get to watch him slowly become better with his relationship with Eileen developing. Season 5 and season 6 he's having to cover for Mordecai a lot when he's going out with CJ, and he's just becoming a more reliable, more responsible character, and it's very enjoyable to see. And then obviously you have season 6, and then you have season 6 where he's just going through all these changes of going out of his way to help Eileen with a TV, with the turtles, whatever it is, and then it's revealed that they're actually dating. And then you have season 7 with his entire arc of going through high school, getting his diploma, fixing his relationship with his dad. It's really good stuff, and it's so great to watch Rigby actually become a better person. And the college acceptance letter is just another notch in that belt of horrible things that he does that makes his redemption all the more sweet, and that's why I enjoy it quite a lot. So yes, I agree that the college acceptance letter is very important to the movie. Did it need to exist? No, not really. We could have gotten a really grounded movie that was just epic through and through, but it adds to the movie, and it definitely adds to Rigby's character growth throughout the entire show. Then we have one from Dominique saying, Margaret was better for Mordecai than CJ. For me, CJ made Mordecai underappreciate Rigby and made him start being lazier at work, while Margaret pushed Mordecai to work harder as he thought Margaret was of higher value than CJ. Mordecai gave up their wealthy future in the Mordecai and the Rigbys to do the right thing for Margaret. And I honestly disagree with this for a lot of reasons. I mean, first of all, I think Margaret was a horrible character in the beginning of the show. I mean, every single interaction that Mordecai had with Margaret in seasons 1 and 2 before they actually started building a relationship between Mordecai and Margaret was just, hey Mordecai, have you met my boyfriend Slasher or Spike or Honeydew? Yeah, they're really cool. I'm gonna go hang out with them after you just went through hell and back to show me how cool you are. Yeah, and she totally knew the entire time that Mordecai liked her. It was very obvious the entire time. Everything Mordecai was doing was to try to get with her, and she's just like, here's my boyfriend. He's super awesome. He's super cool. And then she just had no other character other than, hey, here's my boyfriend. There was never anything enjoyable about anything that Margaret did on screen. And then eventually when they actually start building her character and building the relationship stuff, Mordecai is just doing all this stuff. Like in Butt Dial, for example, he sings an entire song about how hot she is, and then she's just like, I'm gonna make that my ringtone, but I don't want to pursue you in any way. And then when they finally actually do get together, after 4 seasons of build-up, she dumps him after 2 weeks to go to a school that she knew that she applied for. She probably applied for a bunch of schools, so she knew for a fact that she was probably going to be leaving for college, but she chose to start leading Mordecai on and actually date him just to break his heart after just 2 weeks. That is not better than what we got with CJ. What we got with CJ was actually a slow build, multiple episodes that slowly built into their relationship, and when they started dating, of course Mordecai's gonna want to go and hang out with the first semi-healthy relationship that he's ever had. He wasn't ditching work out of laziness, he was still doing his job, he still had Rigby to cover for him, and yeah, he was treating Rigby like shit, but I mean, to be fair, Rigby was always messing up work, so why would he understand that Rigby was getting better at this point in the series? That's my only defense here for why Mordecai was treating him like this. But either way, he was going to hang out with CJ because it was the first time he's ever had a healthy relationship that didn't end in 2 weeks with a person that he was obsessing over for 4 years. So it makes sense why he wants to go and hang out with CJ. Yes, the main aspect that I dislike of CJ's character was her, temperament, how she got angry, but the majority of the time, CJ was awesome. She was fun, she was interested in all the stuff that Mordecai was, she actually had a character, even if you could just call it, female Mordecai in a way, but either way, she actually had a character, she actually went around and did things, she actually dated Mordecai for a pretty long time, and every single time that their relationship got bad, it was mainly all Mordecai's fault. He cheated on her with Margaret, he dumps her at the altar, it's all just so bad. It's all Mordecai's fault, and it's all because of this stupid-ass red bird who doesn't contribute anything to Mordecai's life, who he doesn't even end up with in the end. I just don't like Margaret as a character. I think the first 4 seasons, she's just not a character at all, and then they try to give her a little bit of character later on, and it just doesn't work because she's just bland. She's just nothing. That's why I think CJ is much better for Mordecai. At least she had a character, and at least they had a healthy relationship for a little bit. And then we have one from Mecha Man saying Thomas should have stayed on the show even after the Russian spy thing, or at least he should have appeared in the end montage. Imagine if he was sitting on the stoop with the new park crew, or he was there in the background at the gathering. Yeah, that would have been enjoyable. I honestly was kind of thinking the same thing, especially when I was a kid. I was like, wow, they made Thomas so cool. He's a Russian spy. He could fight bad guys. They actually gave him personality, and then he just leaves and appears 2 more times in the entire show. His only other appearances are in Guys Night 2, which I thought Guys Night 2 originally, when Thomas came back, I thought it was going to be a whole thing like, oh, I need you guys to help clear my name. I need you guys to help me out and clear my name. But no, it wasn't anything even remotely like that. They just help him go away forever, and then he appears again when they get launched into space, and he just lifts up their glass for him. But that's it. That's all the Thomas that we get. And I really was hoping that when they did this Russian spy thing, I thought it was going to be to rejuvenate his character and actually give him some personality, because they decided to do nothing with him for 2 seasons. But no, they just decided to get rid of him forever. And to be honest, it's a pretty clever way to write off one of your characters who you've done nothing with. They were probably just sitting there like, wow, we really did nothing with Thomas at all. Maybe we should make him a Russian spy so that we could get rid of him, and it pays off, and it looks like we actually had this big plan all along, which obviously they didn't plan this at all. They just didn't want to use Thomas at all. But it would have been nice if it was just a rejuvenation of his character, and he was just this cool Russian spy, and the running gag joke or whatever, just anytime he's in any scene, he could be raking leaves, and then just a American FBI agent runs at him and he just punches him in the face, and he's just goes right back to raking leaves or something. I don't know, it could have been a fun running gag in the show. I mean, there's a literal living ghost. I don't see why we couldn't have a Russian spy who is now on our side who just randomly fights people. That could have been an interesting plotline. But yeah, I wish he stayed on the show, but I mean, I'm fine without him, to be honest. Then we have one from VortexGhost saying, hot take, I really don't like Terror Tales in the park. I don't think they set them up very well. The way it's just one after another kind of makes things feel rushed. I think it would have been better if they each got their own full episode. And that's valid. I completely understand wanting these all to get their own full episode, because they would be better that way. way. But the main reason that Terror Tales in the Park even exists in the first place is because J.G. Quintel was a huge fan of the Treehouse of Horror thing from Simpsons, which was just 3 separate stories told in 22 minutes, and that's the exact format that we get here, and I think the majority of them are enjoyable. The first Terror Tale with, like, Rigby turning into a house, and the third one with Jebediah Townhouse and the Smashing Pumpkins, those ones are obviously the best ones. They have the best stories. The other ones are just kind of mid, but for what they are, they're enjoyable. I always look forward to them every Halloween because, I mean, I love some Halloween episodes, some just classic, fun, like, horror episodes of regular show. It's just a good time. It's just not like canon regular show. It's just some silly short stories, and I enjoy them for what they are, and I'm glad that we got them. And I love Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors, so this just works too. It works for what it is. It's not supposed to be like this, like, incredible regular show episode. It's just like short, scary stories, and some of them are just like making a joke of themselves. Like, there's literally one, like the Christmas one. I know it's a Christmas theme, but it's supposed to be like the Terror Tales in the Park thing, where Benson is just using handbells to fight a space demon. Like, it's all good. It's all just in good fun, and I enjoy them for what they are. And then we have one from Official 3X saying, here's a hot take. Mordecai wasn't wrong for pushing Rigby off the microwave. People say he killed Rigby over a girl, when we forget that Rigby was antagonizing him the entire episode just to get on his nerves. Rigby was acting like an a-hole the entire episode just because Mordecai had plans to ask out Margaret to a movie before Rigby got the tickets. Also, Rigby pushed him first, which a lot of people will overlook, and Mordecai almost slipped off. Mordecai didn't even manage to actually kill him. He said he killed him out of anger, nothing else, and when he pushed him off, he immediately regretted it because he actually didn't mean to kill him. And I agree with this. A lot of people overlook every single thing that Rigby was doing throughout this entire episode. I mean, the episode even starts off with Mordecai and Rigby seeing a trailer for a movie, and Rigby's all like, dude, well, I got us 2 tickets. Well, Mordecai's all like, actually, I bought these other 2 tickets because I'm gonna ask out Margaret. They didn't correlate this at all. They didn't have any plan to go to the movie together, so why would Rigby expect his friend to drop the plan that Mordecai already had in his head to ask out Margaret just because Rigby went and bought out the tickets? That doesn't make any sense. Mordecai had a plan in his head, and Rigby had a plan in his head, so you'd think, like, Rigby would be like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go and, like, see if I can get a refund, and we could go, like, maybe tomorrow or something. It'll all work out. No, he decides to flirt with the girl that Mordecai has been in love with for years, and just constantly try to get with her this entire episode, and he eventually does because Rigby is just, you know, a comedic genius. He gets a date with Margaret, and then spends the rest of the day just making fun of Mordecai, roasting him about how Rigby's gonna just be tonguing the girl that he loves tonight on his date. And it's just horrible. It makes Rigby look so bad, and then Mordecai is just jealous the entire time, and Rigby's making fun of him for being jealous. I mean, of course Mordecai's going to be jealous. You're literally going out with the girl that he's in love with, so why wouldn't he be a little bit pissed at you? And then we get the entire sequence with Mordecai taking all the clocks to try to make sure Rigby doesn't go to the date, and he puts it in the microwave, and they start traveling to the father time dimension, and yeah, Rigby shoves him first. And I guarantee you, if Rigby was a 6-foot-tall blue jay that actually had a little bit of muscle on him, Mordecai would get shoved off the goddamn microwave as well, and he would have died. But because Rigby is just this scrawny little punk-ass raccoon, of course Mordecai's not going to fall off, and of course Mordecai's going to shove him in retaliation because he's pissed because of everything Rigby has been doing, and Mordecai has no knowledge that if he pushes Rigby off of this microwave that Rigby's going to literally disintegrate into nothing. Of course he doesn't know that that's going to happen, but it does, and he does immediately regret it. Doesn't make it better that he killed his friend. No, it's still horrible that he killed his friend, I mean, regardless of the circumstances, but either way, you can completely understand why Mordecai would do this, and it's all because of Rigby antagonizing him and pushing him over the edge, and Rigby did everything first. Rigby is entirely the villain of this episode, and he honestly deserved to get pushed off the microwave. Did he deserve to die? No, but he deserved to, I don't know, get socked in the face like at least 6 times for this episode because he was just being insufferable. And I can completely understand why Mordecai was driven to push him off the microwave. It's perfectly understandable, so I fully agree with you. Then we have one from Burna Marshall saying, in my opinion, the relationship trio stuff in season 6 is good because I feel like a good chunk of the audience by then were 15 to 16. They were starting to get more mature, maybe get in their own relationships. As cringe as it is, it serves as a purpose to the audience not to do what Mordecai did and the consequences of it. And yeah, I could agree with you. If you look at it that way, as just all of these episodes are supposed to be, oh, this this is what you should not do in a relationship. It's trying to teach you that you shouldn't act like this and you should do all the things that Mordecai isn't, then it works perfectly. If all of those episodes were genuinely put together as entertainment to show kids what not to do in relationships, then it works perfectly. My main problem with it is just how much of the season it takes up. If it was like 4 episodes out of 30, that's fine. But when it's like 8 or 9 episodes of the season and it just keeps on going, and some of the episodes are literally just building blocks for another relationship episode, then it kind of sucks, man. It really does. Especially when the main thing that I love about regular show are the non-relationship episodes where crazy stuff happens, where they have to eat all this food and fight a demon, where they summon a literal god and have to defeat him, when they have to ride on bikes to reset their sleep cycle in this ultimate like trial race trial. Whatever it is, it just doesn't feel like regular show when 25% to 30% of the season is just all building blocks to the same relationship stuff that we've already gotten over and over and over again. Like, I just don't care about it as much as the regular show stuff. But if you're genuinely like, hey, like, oh, I'm a 15-year-old and I don't know what I'm doing, I don't understand the woman's lips, then yeah, it's great, it works, it's very good. If you wanted to understand like how you're supposed to treat a girl and how to not be an idiot, then watch Mordecai's arc with all of his relationship stuff, because it's honestly very good for that, but it's not what I personally want out of regular show. And then there's one from Breezy Hill Productions saying, I've got one. I think Anti-Pops is just kind of a rehash version of Clorgbane, an evil, superpowered, and immortal brother that has to be battled by another immortal, and they just upped the ante with it having universe-ending consequences and made the powers more crazy. And I mean, if you're looking at it like that, if it's just like, oh, Clorgbane is immortal and is evil and has powers, and then Anti-Pops is evil and has powers, then yeah, they're kind of the same. But I mean, Anti-Pops is literally, if you take Pops' jolly good show personality and made it bad show, very bad show, that's entirely what his character is. He's just evil Pops. He serves his purpose well as being this like universe-ending threat, but overall he's just kind of boring. I really wish that we got a different character as the main final villain. I would have loved for Mr. Ross to be the main final villain. Obviously that would involve taking away all of Pops' powers and maybe his sacrifice even, but I don't know. I kind of wish that they just did a brand new villain that wasn't Anti-Pops, that had his own amazing personality, that was just super awesome, that wasn't just one of our characters turned evil. I would have loved that a lot more, because Anti-Pops is just 5-star review, 5-star negative review, 1 star, bad show. That's it. That's all he really was. He just didn't do a whole lot. I would have loved a villain that was just worthy of being the final villain in the show, that just had a zany, wacky personality that felt like a regular show villain. Anti-Pops is literally just evil Pops, and he just didn't do a whole lot for me. I mean, even when I was a kid watching it, I was never like drawn to Anti-Pops as a villain. He would never even remotely crack like my top 15 like villains of all time and like villains of the show, and he's the final villain, so it kind of sucks. But I mean, overall he's fine. Is he like Clorgbane? Kinda. Then we have Relic Plays saying, hot take, I liked Mordo from the start to the end. Yes, he got cringe and made mistakes, but him and Rigbone remain my favorite. And yeah, I could completely understand liking Mordecai throughout the entire series. I never really hate him as a character. He is just the character that progressively gets worse and worse and worse with all of the actions that he does, and I don't understand why they chose to make him so bad later on. It didn't feel right for his character. I mean, in the beginning of the series, he's just awesome. He is just counteracting Rigby messing up all the time. I mean, Mordecai messes up here and there, but it's mainly just Rigby ruining every single thing, and you have Mordecai just like chilling, just being like, dude, you pissed me off. But then as the series goes on, you get all the stuff with like Margaret, which you could understand. I mean, he's in love with the girl. It's kind of annoying. So many relationship episodes where he's just cringe, and then it just gets slowly worse after that, after his breakup. All the stuff with CJ makes him just start to neglect Rigby and leaves Rigby like just high and dry when it comes to helping Rigby with work. And then eventually, even when Rigby has been like starting to better himself, covering for Mordecai all the time, he just throws Rigby under the bus in the episode Live With Your Back and says Rigby literally can't do anything, which makes Rigby literally quit and go get money on his own. And Mordecai apologizes after he can see that Rigby can actually do this. Yeah, pretty messed up. And then I think the worst thing, if you're ignoring all of the, cheating on CJ, trying to get back with CJ and then dumping her again, going to Dumptown, USA, which is just stupid because he didn't deserve to go there in the first place. Yeah, didn't like that aspect, but whatever, he's there. And then you even get to Rigby's graduation special, where Rigby has been doing all of this stuff to better himself, just for Mordecai to be all like, I hate you because you're getting better than me. I can't believe it. I wish you were always stupid, and I hate you. I wish you were dumb, because if you're smarter than me, then what am I? I'm just a pathetic guy who doesn't want to do anything to better myself. And I hate that they made that just his entire Season 7 arc, is just trying to accept the fact that Rigby is becoming a better person. I completely understand like why Mordecai's a little bit upset, because I mean, he is stupid, he is like falling behind when everybody else is getting better, but they could have like chose to make Mordecai grow as a character and start bettering himself as well, instead of just having the entire season just be Rigby getting better. Like maybe Mordecai could have done something, because I don't know, just that entire just thing in Rigby's graduation day special where he's just so unsupportive, it sucks for his character. But overall, I mean, Mordecai's fine, he's a good character throughout the entire series. He just has much lower lows compared to every other character in the show when it comes to his progression. Then we have from Wumbosaur saying Season 8 is peak. Saying going to space sounds off for regular show is crazy. Okay, I'm not saying that going to space is off for regular show. That's a very regular show thing. That is anything but regular. It's when you make an entire season in space that it takes away the formula a little bit. Because regular show is supposed to be a show with just, you know, a normal beginning, like, I don't know, they're going to get a grilled cheese for their boss, and then all of a sudden they have to, like, lie about becoming astronauts and throw the grilled cheese into a black hole forming. It's stuff like that. It's taking something that is just such a simple opening plot and making it anything but regular. But when you're already in space, it's already anything but regular from the beginning. It's just, you know, it takes me out of it a little bit, because, you know, nothing can be normal when they're in space. They're gonna do stuff like, oh, we want hover boots. That's not normal. Or, oh, we need to go to this planet to refill this gas tank, and we need to fight all these monsters. That's not anything but regular. It just starts the episode off as already being just out of the normal. And something that I loved about regular show so much was just these simple, normal plots that are turned into something so crazy and so funny by the end. But when you're already in space, it just kind of takes that away. It just takes away that classic regular show formula that we've had for 7 seasons, and just kind of flips it upside down a little bit, and just makes it so they have to come up with only space-related things, only space-related activities. And I mean, it's fine for what it is, it's entertaining, but it just feels slightly off from what regular show normally is. I enjoy Season 8. I think it's fine. It's still the weakest of every single season, but I mean, it's fine for what it is. It just doesn't feel as regular show as the other 7 seasons to me. And then you have one from MV Man saying, hot take, I think Season 7 and 8 were good, they work well together, and I believe they were given a bad rap seemingly for breaking the regular show formula. I, for one, am glad that they were bold enough to take on the ending of the show that they wanted to. And, as an added side note, I love the way they foreshadowed the space plot in Season 7 and making Benson oblivious to it. It was frustrating to watch him not see the obvious signs at the time in Chili Cook-Off, the Dome Experiment, and Pam I Am, but it was definitely a good way to give the audience subtle hints about something bigger to come. And honestly, I enjoyed Season 7 a lot. I think it was a great way to just give a bunch of our characters a lot of ways to grow other than maybe Mordecai, but especially Rigby. The entire season is mainly all about Rigby getting his high school diploma, developments with his Eileen relationship. All of that was honestly pretty good. I think Season 7 is extremely overrated. It's just a bunch of good character stuff. Maybe it doesn't have all these like silly, wacky, incredible adventures that like Seasons 1 through 4 had, but if you're just enjoying the characters and you love all of the characters in the show, then I think Season 7 is great. What I dislike about Season 8 is actually the like breaking the regular show formula. It feels like every single episode nothing too crazy could happen because it's already crazy. Again, it doesn't take away from the entertainment of the season. I think there's great episodes in Season 8, in Season 7, but overall, I mean, it is very different from the rest of the show, which is why I feel like people dislike it so much. But I'm glad that we got all of this stuff building to the end of the series. I'm glad that we even got a conclusion to the series. A regular epic final battle is just so good. The 3-part ending where we get to see all of our characters grow up in a final battle, all of this good stuff. I'm glad that we got that, and I'm glad that Season 7 and Season 8 exist overall, because if we didn't have them, then a lot of our characters would just be incomplete, I feel like. I mean, if they just like rushed it and were like, oh, okay, so we're gonna go to space in this like hour-long finale and they're gonna fight this ultimate epic villain, but we didn't get any of the building blocks from Season 7 or Season 8, I feel like it wouldn't feel the same and people wouldn't love the ending as much as we do, because I don't know, I think Season 7 and Season 8 are just great for building all of our characters to their final destination, the ending of the show, and I think it works very well for what it is. But if you compare it to like the rest of the series, just all of the like first half, then it doesn't compare if you're just looking for a good laugh or just a lot of entertainment. The back half of the show is just to develop all of our characters to what they eventually become. And then we have one from GatorOne saying, "I'm very mixed on Benson. As someone who has had a lot of anger-related meltdowns in his life, I relate to him in that way, but there were a lot of times when he completely stepped out of line in how he should have treated Mordecai and Rigby. Yes, they were slackers, yes, they could be total idiots, and Rigby definitely pushed his luck too much, but I still don't think they deserve to lose their ultimatums, nor do I think Rigby's bad attitude at the start of Muscle Mentor warranted Benson to take sadistic pleasure in watching Muscle Man torment him all day." And then you have the episode Cool Bikes, where he just completely went back on his word to give them back the cart privileges after admitting they were cool, which especially stings after he had learned not to do that in stick hockey just a few episodes prior. These moments seriously hurt his character for me, even though he did get a lot of great episodes throughout, like Excellent, Busted Cart, Weekend at Benson's, and Lunch Club. If we have gotten more cool and caring Benson and less angry and petty Benson, he could have been my favorite character. And I completely understand that you think Benson is just, over the top sometimes, but it's completely fair when you take into consideration every single thing that Mordecai and Rigby do. Mordecai and Rigby do not listen to Benson ever. At all, no matter what he's saying. They do not care. They only go out of their way to care when they can see that it's actually affecting Benson, like in his personal life, mentally. That's the only time that they ever seem to actually care about the guy. Benson is doing all of this because he wants Mordecai and Rigby to be better people. And yes, maybe he takes a little bit of a sadistic pleasure in it sometimes, but I mean, you probably would too if you had these two guys that were constantly costing the park millions of dollars because they destroyed on multiple occasions. They never listen to you. They constantly egg you on at your most angry moments, and they just take advantage of you at every single turn. Of course you're going to, hate them and maybe want to see them suffer a little bit. Did they deserve to lose their ultimatums? No, that is the one thing in the show that I didn't really like. Did they deserve the cart back? No, they didn't. I mean, they were literally just trashing it the entire time. Just because Benson admitted that they were cool, why would he want to give them the cart back? That's so stupid. That makes no sense. Yes, he should have learned from stick hockey to go with his word, but I mean, if somebody, let's say, you had this brand new car, you were super excited about it, and you let your friend drive it, and they total it. And then they come back and they're all like, "Well, this isn't fair. Why aren't you letting me drive the car anymore?" And you're all like, "Well, because you totaled it." And they were all like, "Well, what if I wear this really cool leather jacket? Will you let me drive your car again?" And you were like, yeah, buddy, I'll let you do that. And then they look super cool, so you're like, "Yeah, you look cool, but I'm just messing with you, dude. I'm not gonna let you drive my car that you just destroyed." Why would he give the cart back? It makes no sense. Mordecai and Rigby are kind of the antagonists in Benson's life, so of course he's going to hate them. He's going to be mean to them. It makes perfect sense. In almost every single situation where Benson is angry, where he's yelling, where he's just trying to ruin stuff for them, it makes perfect sense, and it's all perfectly understandable when you compare it to what Mordecai and Rigby are actually doing. Yes, is it over the top sometimes? Yeah. Should he be screaming all the time? Maybe not. Should he take a sadistic pleasure? Definitely not. But you can completely understand why he is the way he is, and it's why he's definitely one of my favorite characters in the entire show, because as you grow up, he is the most relatable character, and you can understand him completely. Then we have Wikipedia Tryhard saying, "Thomas being revealed as a Russian spy was kind of dumb. Yeah, it got us that good episode, but I feel like they could have done something more with him. Also, I like how he has more character than High Five Ghost despite only being in the show for 3 seasons. And honestly, yeah, I kind of touched on this before, but they could have done so much more with Thomas's character in so many different ways. Like, as I said before, the Russian spy thing, they could have just added that to his character and let him stay on the show, where he just randomly fights people. It could have been fun. It could have been cool. His character was already awesome once he became a Russian. Also, somebody told me in the comments, I forget who it was, but they said that in the new broadcast of regular show, they changed everything from Russia because of what's going on there with Druzhnia. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That's really weird. I didn't know that they would ever go and do something like that, but it makes sense. Either way, kind of cool. But I mean, overall, they could have done so much more with Thomas's character in just so many different ways. They could have actually made him, go on adventures instead of appearing in 3 different episodes. And honestly, I hate the fact that Thomas does actually have more character than High Five Ghost, and High Five Ghost is there the entire season. If you take into consideration the fact that High Five Ghost only gets the episode The Postcard, that is the only episode in the entire series that is all about High Five Ghost, and Thomas has Starter Pack, he has Cool Cubed, he has the Thomas Fights Back special, he has the Russian Spy special. How does this guy, who doesn't do anything but sit in the background and then maybe appear a little bit more, get more development, more cool arcs than High Five Ghost? It doesn't make any sense. I honestly wish that they, would go out of their way to make Thomas this super awesome, awesome character in, season 5 and a little bit of season 6 before the Russian spy thing, instead of just making him have this huge Russian spy arc in one episode, because all of that just makes High Five Ghost look so lame, man. This character that was introduced in the series in season 4 did absolutely nothing is cooler than High Five Ghost is. And that's just crazy. Then we have one from Dantam Brown saying Rigby had the potential to be a genius, but due to it being overshadowed by his brother and the low expectation by his father, he became a slacker. Only when he was in a healthy environment, he flourished. And honestly, I mean, I don't know if genius is really a word that I would ever associate with Rigby. Could he have been smart, and could he have been more than just a park worker? Definitely. I think he could have went on to do some great things, maybe not genius level things, but if he had a good support system growing up, then it probably would have turned out a lot better for him. I mean, it's kind of weird that Rigby was in Dawn's shadow, especially because Rigby is the older brother. Dawn must have just been something super special coming right out of that womb for Rigby to just be thrown and tossed in the dust, or Rigby was just, kind of insufferable from birth. I feel like there's reasons why Rigby's father had to dislike Rigby. I mean, Rigby had to kind of always have had, that Rigby charm, and I don't think Rigby is that smart overall. I mean, even though he became a better person later on, when he is in high school, does he actually ever do anything that smart to showcase that he is genius levels of intelligent? I mean, he is able to pass the geology class, which is said to be the easiest class in high school. Yes, he does learn a little bit from it. And then he's able to pass gym by beating Jablonski in a food race. And then he's able to, learn another language by going to China and just learning English, which he already knows. And he doesn't even learn anything there about English. He teaches them all slang. So is Rigby that smart? No, I don't think Rigby is smart at all. Could he have been a better person if, his dad was nice to him and his brother was treated equally compared to him? Yeah, Rigby could have been a way better person. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten seasons 1 through 3 Rigby, but I'm glad he got to grow as a character either way. Then we have one from Henry Sith saying, hot take, Exit 9B isn't even a top 10 episode of regular show. White Elephant, Terror Tales 1, and Fuzzy Dice are just 3 episodes off the top of my head that are better. I don't know, we're all entitled to our own opinion about episodes and how good they are, but you just have to take into consideration the impact that Exit 9B had on the series overall. I genuinely cannot think of a episode that had more hype, more excitement for regular show than Exit 9B. There were trailers, there were promotions, there was a little countdown timer, everything was leading up to the season 4 premiere that was going to change everything, and it was just so epic. What could you not like about it? I mean, it has one of the craziest openings to a regular show episode with them all losing their brains getting scrambled, and then they have to go around and find everybody and jog their memories, and then we just get literally a 10-minute ultimate final battle against all of their past villains. What do you not like about it? It's so good. It's great. It has great stuff from every single character in the show. We get introduced to Thomas, which was really cool at the time because we were getting a new character. Every single character gets time to shine. Garrett Bobby Ferguson is a great villain and an amazing highlight. It's such a good episode. It is definitely one of the pinnacle episodes of regular show. On any given day, could I give you 10 episodes that I would think could maybe be better than Exit 9B? Of course I can. But when you consider regular show as a whole, I think Exit 9B was a pivotal moment in the series and just one of the most hype things to ever come out of the show. I think Exit 9B just has to be in that top 10 or even top 5 episodes of the entire series. Then we have one from Isaac Matthews saying, hot take, High Five Ghost is fine as he is. I think he's just a mouthpiece for one of the writers who likes niche music, and that's the only reason he exists. No, I don't think he's fine as he is. You want to know the main reason that High Five Ghost doesn't get more screen time, didn't get more episodes, is because J.G. Quintel doesn't like doing the voice for High Five Ghost. That is literally the main reason. I'm sure for a fact, if I ever get a chance to interview that guy and I'm going to ask him about High Five Ghost, I guarantee you he will say, I don't feel like talking like him the majority of the time, because I guarantee you he has to do something funky to talk like High Five Ghost, and he just chooses. That is the main reason that we don't get a lot of High Five Ghost in the series. I wish we did. I don't think he's fine as he is. If he's going to be there from seasons 1 through 8, I wish he got at least I don't know, give me 2 or 3 more episodes that are all about him, about his life, about Lo5Ghost, about whatever. Maybe we could get that episode about him downing that entire tub of cream corn. Like, why didn't they give us that episode? They were just like, yeah, he was able to do it. I would have loved to see Hi5Ghost struggle in a food challenge. Those are some of the best episodes in regular show. But no, we didn't get that. We get one episode about Hi5Ghost, and yeah, I do like that he has a niche music taste, and they can showcase that a little bit, but I don't think that that was the main reason that he exists. They don't even talk about his niche music taste until, like, what, season 5, when he's looking at the music with Celia? That doesn't even remotely even make sense. He was just a character that was supposed to be Muscle Man's best friend, and they could have done so much more with him to just evolve his character, and I guarantee you they could have found a voice actor who would have been a great fit for Hi5Ghost and get that ghost feel, so that JG Quintel wouldn't have to do it all the time. I don't know. But either way, I could just go on and on about how much more I would love to see Hi5Ghost, and I really do hope that just because of how many people actually want it, that in the Lost Tapes we do get more Hi5Ghost. And there you have it, guys. That's going to do it for this video. I had a bunch more hot takes, but some of them just kind of felt like immense rehashes of all the stuff that I talked about in the first video, so I decided to just, end it here. I don't want to just be talking and rambling on about the same stuff over and over again, but I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. I have a ton of good stuff on the way. I have my SpongeBob ranking coming up very soon, probably going to be after my next regular show season ranking, because SpongeBob is just going to take a little bit longer than that, and I want to make it a pretty good video because I'm diving into SpongeBob for like the second or first time. So yeah, that one should be pretty exciting. I got BoJack on the way. I'm going to have South Park on the way. I'm going to have a lot of good stuff on the way, and you don't want to miss it, so you might as well be subscribed. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.